Shannon's going to hang out with us. But we're not doing a SoCal Shannon scene report. She's actually going to give us a full-on, in-depth report. We're going fucking behind the orange curtain with SoCal Shannon.
Hey, Shannon. How's it going?
Hey. How you guys?
We're okay.
So,
okay, just okay?
Well, we've been talking about a lot of heavy shit, like cops, like shooting houseless people and running over protesters and shit. Yeah, so we're okay.
Yeah, that's kind of a downer.
Yeah, but you have done a fabulous bunch of fucking DIY punk rock homework, and you are really going to take us behind the orange curtain today, and you're going to talk about what's going on with not only the foundation of where Orange County fucking came from. We're going to be hearing about how that relates to what's going on with the quote-unquote sanctuary city battle in Orange County. We're going to be talking about the massive concerted war against the houseless community in Orange County, and just all kind. Shannon. So
everywhere.
You come with the SoCal Shannon scene report, and you let us know about really amazing, cool actions that are going on and punk rock gigs and stuff. But stick with us. SoCal Shannon has a badass, like, in-depth report. We're going behind the fucking orange curtain, and to sort of set it up, there's this really cool punk rock movie called Clockwork Orange County, and it's about kind of the environment around the fucking cuckoo's nest. And we got a little segment from it, and we're going to play it real quick, and then we're going to get into SoCal Shannon taking us behind the fucking orange curtain. So,
dun, dun, dun.
Mike, you want to play that video, and then we'll come back and talk?
Yeah, for sure.
I like the attitude, you know? Fuck you. I'll do what I want.
It's okay by me. Every time I try to walk by there, the cowboys try to butt fuck me. They told us that fucking these are shit kickers and we're not allowed to wear them. Oh, yeah. We don't know how to kick shit. Yeah, we don't know how to kick shit. We don't know how to eat it either, but they suck a lot of it over there.
We truly believed the etho and the ideal. We absolutely believed it, you know, and therefore we were reckless beyond belief.
There was a lot of hostility towards the club next door, which was like a Cowboy Bar. There was just a lot. There was a lot of friction that started to occur.
You know, you're devos, and oh, why you look like that, and you're un-American, you commie faggot, you're probably shooting heroin and selling child pornography on video.
A new enemy reared their ugly head, and it was the cowboy redneck.
The Southern Californian redneck, who is very well fed, very big, very able, and wants to indiscriminately punch the living daylights out of anything that looks like punk rock.
And there they were at Zuby's, sharing a parking lot with the Cuckoo's Nest and the punk rockers, who were already dressed to challenge everybody. You know, they were looking for an enemy of some kind, and then they found it right there in their parking lot. I mean, it was Orange County. What enemies is a redneck going to have? So they found us. It was pretty frightening. I mean, I know for one, I was only like 16, 17. I didn't want anything to do with it.
I mean, punks aren't doing anything that bad. And the cowboys, not to mention the cowboys at Zuby's, hating the punks, antagonizing them and calling them names for no reason and stuff. Of course, the punks would retaliate, you know, like anybody would if you said, you know, you're ugly, I hate your guts. Somebody would say, you know, no, I'm not, and like wonder why they did it, you know.
Like these cowboys, like came out about 5 strong. They're all, hey, you homosexuals. They're all, you know, sitting around, and we're all 20 punks running around the corner. The cowboys turn, run back into their club with their tails behind their legs. 20 beer bottles crashing against the door they just ran in. Just like a barrage of hand grenades in Iraq.
It was like oil and water in that parking lot where we had the hard hat guys and we had the punkers. And you can imagine it in the evenings, you know, they're coming to dinner with their families and these guys are coming to raise havoc.
Yeah, what do they think of the punks?
They don't like them.
They don't?
No, they don't like punks.
What do they do?
Gawk at them, call them names, get into fisticuffs with them.
They generally started?
Yeah. Yeah, they generally start a lot of the problems.
Invite them over to watch this movie. All you folks at Zoomies can fuck off, man.
And the Cuckoo's Nest had the potential, not only these cowboy ass-whooping jock types who will fight anybody, they'll fight the security, they were ready to go.
You know, you get a bunch of drunk rednecks in their pickup trucks and they see a bunch of crazy, you know, multicolored haired, spiked haired, mohawked haired guys, and it's like, hey, it's gonna be a gang fight.
It wasn't even like the people at Zuby's were the problem. It was a stereotyped person that that a lot of us had to deal with.
Oh yeah, they used to come around and be tough, and the punks would beat them up. You know, it's like one time we had 6 guys in football helmets and baseball bats march up to the Cuckoo's Nest. They were going to kick some punk ass, and the punks saw them and just went, oh boy, and about 80 punks took out after these 6 people, and they dropped their bats and hauled ass. It was great.
That is such a good movie, and that was a great clip from it.
Well, it gets to the point of what we're going to talk about, like this long history of just white violent privilege in Orange County. Right, Shannon?
And the music that went with it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Shannon, talk
Yes.
to us about not only well, Mike, I don't know if you ever lived in Orange County. I did. I lived in Mission Viejo. I lived in Dana Point.
I actually did, bro.
It just depended on who my mom was dating at the time. So normally I lived in butthole shit fucking communities in Southern California. But
you lived in Dana Point was a good place. I mean, it was not bad. I mean, it was for a beach city. I had considered living there as well. I mean, it's
Dana Point's still nice.
It's still behind the orange curtain. It's nice. There's expensive areas and there's not
Still
so
too
expensive
expensive to live in.
Yeah, no, there's places.
Mission Viejo is deep orange curtain. I lived there in 5th and 6th grade. That's when I lived in Mission Viejo, and it was
always
crawling.
that way?
It was
I wouldn't know.
crawling
I'm a
with
North
white
County
men.
girl.
It was crawling with just like very, very comfortable, privileged white people. That's what Mission Viejo was.
Oh yeah,
And,
well, it was almost brother.
Mowed our lawns. It was straight up all brown people that were mowing lawns.
Well, it still pretty much is. But Mission Viejo was like, I mean, I remember back in the early '80s, you know, driving through there, going down to Sano. It was kind of up and coming at the time, and so because it was South Orange County, it was looked as
It's kind of laid back, though.
Yeah, it was a little bit more laid back. You're right, and I even remember people from Chino moving out there and going, "Oh, Mission Viejo's not bad. I mean, it's a nice, it's to me, it's suburbs of Orange County. I mean, it's
Right.
not far. It's not
Well,
super far
Orange
from the
County's
beach.
one big suburb.
Right, I know, huh? But now, Shannon, you said you were a North County girl because I lived in Brea for a few years, so I was up northern
We
Orange
lived
County.
in Yorba Linda when I was born, which is right next door.
And I did pools
and where
in Yorba
Nixon was
Linda.
born too.
Yeah, you're right. Dude, I lived.
Hey guys, squirrel, check it out. Tell us a little bit, Shannon, about how did Orange County come about?
Well, Orange County came about some doctor, Henry William Head. I'm not joking, that's his name.
His name
he was
Ed?
a Civil War guy. That's his name. He was an assemblyman in LA County, and I guess it just wasn't white enough or something, and he didn't start it all by himself, but he is the one who
but he had
pulled the strings and made
he
it
had
happen.
some help from who?
He had some help from other KKK members.
Other white supremacists.
Well, no,
Yeah, that was
so
in
basically what
1889,
you're telling us, Shannon, is that Orange County was basically organized by a bunch of damn white supremacists.
Yes,
yes. And they were mainly concentrated in Anaheim, but Brea, La Habra, there's a couple of Fullerton. I mean, we still have some schools and I think some parks named after them. Chapman University has something.
After a KKK member.
I think it's a building named after. Yeah, they were council members. They ran like Anaheim, 80% of their what's that called?
Their entire
city council
were
were Klansmen.
That's right.
Yeah, that was in the 20s. That was like the heyday for the KKK in Orange County.
Right.
There were a lot.
And the hub of all the KKK activity, like Anaheim, California, was lock, stock, and barrel 100% Klan. Like all of,
much.
I mean, and one of the
but
largest.
Fullerton wasn't much better.
and that's relevant to so that's the nature of it, and that's relevant to why talk to us, Shannon, about what's going on with all of these different local Fullerton and Mission Viejo, and there's different communities, San Diego, or maybe not San Diego, but these different Orange County communities that are jumping on this, like they want to detach from sanctuary city status. And
Fullerton brought it up for a vote, but they
I'm sorry.
It down.
Who did?
Fullerton.
Okay.
But they voted it down, their city council, so that's a good thing. But Mission Viejo, however, voted for it, and so did Los Al, and so did the Board of Supervisors, Orange County Board of Supervisors.
So
I don't know if they've taken the vote, but they're in favor of it.
So Mission Viejo, Los Alamos, and the Orange County Board of Supervisors are all Los Alamitos, not Los Alamos. Los Alamitos.
No.
Los Alamitos is Orange County because I thought that was LA County.
It's still Orange County.
Okay.
And so all three of these bodies are on board right now with pulling out
federal lawsuit,
quote unquote sanctuary status. And Shannon, get us up to speed. What is sanctuary city really? What is sanctuary city? Yeah, go ahead.
It means that the immigrants, the DACA recipients, that we're not gonna work with ICE.
But basically we're not going to. That those cities are the cities that are sanctuary cities are saying, hey, you know what? You can come here and live here and be here, and we're not going to rat you out to ICE. We're not going to cooperate with the federal authorities.
But not cooperate with ICE.
Right. That's what
that
it is.
Means a little more, and that's like they're not going to work with them.
Right. That's what I said.
So what it is,
it's kind of like saying "fuck you."
Exactly what it's saying.
You're not going to do this here.
So what it is specifically is that a sanctuary city is not something that is like a proactive sort of policy. Sanctuary city just says we are not going to force our law enforcement to take on extra added duties of facilitating what ICE is doing. Okay.
Correct.
So the sanctuary city, it's not like a sanctuary state or a sanctuary city has some policy in place that makes it easier or better or comfortable for immigrants to get there. It just says, no, we are not going to divert our local law enforcement to the purposes of ICE, right? So Fullerton or Mission Viejo or Los Alamitos, what they're saying is we want to add an extra added responsibility onto our local law enforcement, which will make them now border control agents, which will require a lot more funding and a lot more money, and a lot more people being rooted out of their homes, and papers, please, SS, ICE behavior. So sanctuary city is not a thing like, oh, California has done all these things to make it easy for immigrants to get here. It's just, no, we're just going to concentrate on what our law enforcement is supposed to do, which is enslave black people, and we don't want to, divert our attention from enslaving and murdering black people to concentrate on, diverting those resources to what ICE is doing in their attempt to, marginalize and scapegoat brown people to facilitate Trump's fascist regime.
Right, and that goes for other official offices as well. They don't have to work with ICE. Because, ICE, they target everywhere. And especially in California, since,
Yeah, and this
Trump had to chime in on that, too. I mean, he praised Orange County.
Right.
Which helps a lot. And
came down there and got them all riled up.
Well,
man.
it helps his base. He's got base in Orange County, dude. He came down to Costa Mesa and did a little, a little speech there at Pacific Amphitheater before the election.
Right.
Yeah, I remember that, and in San Diego too. They protested the hell out of him. That was huge.
And these same fucking people, Shannon, that were like, getting in their trucks and, hanging out and drinking beer at Zuby's and going out to beat up punk rockers. It's the same fucking mentality. These are the people that are now
same
like
dudes on Black Star Canyon, driving four-wheeling with the, I call them the blue flag fuckers.
Yeah. Blue line moron.
They're breaking the law of waving these flags. It's like So they're frickin' punks. And not in a good way.
Right. Yeah. And these are the people that are like setting Orange County policy now, because those idiots, mommy and daddy, always had money, and now, they're the new generation that are on the city council and shit.
Yep.
And these are the idiots that are running Orange County, man, and facilitating all this crap with Trump. And, it's not just that like, oh, it's like Trump sucks and, we're here to do, all about immigrants. I mean, all that stuff is incredibly important, but it has a real-time effect on like people from America and real-time citizens who are really struggling to make it in this totally fucked up capitalist wasteland that we live in.
When this all started, I went, it was your Belinda. It was Ed Royce's office. And I think the young lady was about 10, and she was talking. She was a DACA recipient. And they were at Arthur, was across the street yelling on his bullhorn. There was another guy yelling awful things that I won't repeat. And she's in tears. And I just don't understand it. It's a child. What is wrong with you? It makes no sense.
And meanwhile, while this idiot who brings her to tears and is propping up this disgusting oppressive state that is leaving a shit ton of people in Orange County behind, right, Shannon? There's a hell of a lot of people who don't have the luxury of, a driveway or a front lawn. They have homes. They have places they fucking go to every night, and even that's under threat. Right? We're seeing our house. Right. We're seeing things, cops and politicians posting.
Well, and now when you get out of jail.
Well, let me say this real quick, and then I'm going to let you completely go off. Is that we're seeing alerts from politicians like, be aware, there's a new homeless encampment in Santa Ana, and we're going to do something about it.
And that guy's forced sanctuary. Okay.
Wow. So get us up to speed. Okay. So let's take it back a notch. get us up to speed, Shannon, on what the hell is going on this massive war against the houseless community in Southern California, and primarily Orange County. But I mean, it's broader than Orange County. But
oh yeah, LA is worse, really. I mean, Orange County's smaller, so it's hard to say. I mean, I want to say all of California, but then you say all of the West, but then you say it's kind of the whole world, really, right now.
Of course.
It's crazy. But Orange County got pretty famous last summer when the UN came here and declared our houseless population basically third world country level. So our board of supervisors were forced to deal with it, and how they started dealing it was with mass arrests, and then people with mental illness or just different, they don't even know. I mean, some people were thrown in institutions that weren't clinically, diagnosed with anything.
Right.
And so some of them were drug addicts. And they send them to these places, and not even just jail, but the institutions reports to people being beaten and raped and robbed. It's awful. I mean, they go from the streets where they're semi-safe, to this, or a shelter where the same thing's going on. They're not safe. The shelters aren't safe. That's why people don't want to go in there, and that's always the argument. Well, why don't they go to a shelter? They don't want to go to shelters because they don't want to obey the rules. Well, the rules are you can't leave, and you're getting beat up, mugged, raped, So it's out of control.
Read this book.
This is many years.
Or pray with us now, or promise you'll do
right.
this.
But
or
the churches really aren't there. Seriously, church members are there, righteous people, but not the churches themselves necessarily. Now, there is a church in Santa Ana that, since I can remember, has, had food services on the weekend. I think they stopped doing it on Saturday. They just do it on Sunday now. But, so, I mean, there's stuff like that, but that's it. The outreach is really just the community. And there's not enough. There's not enough of us to even make a difference. Anyway, they what they did is a portion of the Santa Ana riverbed. There was about 800 people. I know there was more. The counts don't count, really. They don't count everybody because people don't want to be counted. They don't trust anybody. And then, not everybody, but many. And then you have the RV population that isn't counted. They're not there, but they technically are houseless. In the eyes of the government, they are. So you have all these issues, and they offer vouchers for a month. And they were supposed to get temporary.
What's going on in the Santa Ana riverbed? What specifically is going on in the Santa Ana riverbed?
I'm sorry. They kicked people out. They started kicking them out. Initially, there was no plan. And because so many people did get involved in the community, they wrote, they're at city council every week. Right. They ended up giving a voucher to people who weren't arrested or sent to an institution, and they could stay at a motel for a month. So when that expired, they were supposed to go to temporary shelters that the board was going to set up in different cities. I think it was Huntington Beach. I know it was Huntington Beach. Irvine. How could I forget Irvine? I can't remember. Oh, Laguna Niguel. And they all said no. So that fell through. And then when that fell through, they abandoned it altogether. And then they tried to say, we're going to move people to Riverside. We're going to build a shelter in Riverside. You're talking about thousands of people. And
Just kicking
Riverside
the
said
can.
no. Riverside said no, which I don't blame them. Some of these people are lifelong residents of Orange County. Why should they have to move from their hometown? Because they haven't done anything wrong. Like everybody else, the system failed them.
Well, three
and
letters.
The greedy corruption.
3 letters, Shannon. UBI. Universal Basic Income.
Yep.
I mean, they're going to stick these guys in, some of these people in hotels for a month. They can already see a glimpse into the value of giving them a leg up for a second. I mean, they're going to fuck them after that month.
It's already expired
but
for most of the people. They have no plan. And a judge, one good thing, a judge ruled that they have to stop criminalizing the people in the encampments that he had until they have a plan that they can't. The police need to leave them alone. But I mean, all those people were moved already, and that's right by Anaheim Stadium. It's visible.
Go get your hot dog and home run. Woo, America!
Yeah, no, dude, I've ridden my bike by there. I've seen it. It's huge. We've got them here in Hawaii, too, and they're doing the same thing. They're fucking rounding these people up and just shipping them out and, like, cleaning the stuff up. And it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Where are you going to take them? I think Hawaii's got the biggest population of houseless people in the nation.
Really?
Yeah, no, seriously, because it's warm here. Seriously. I mean, I don't know the situation. I know it's bad here, and I know that there's.
You're new.
Right.
Let me just say real quick, Mike is new to the island, so he's obviously not an expert, but.
No, but there's a huge homeless
encampment.
encampment.
There's no getting away from it, right?
No, it's definitely here. There's one not too far from here. I would say, like, just on the other side. Look, as I go into Waialua or into Wahiawa from here, there's a big one, like in the trees and by the river there. But I mean, there's other ones around the island that, maybe even closer to town that they've taken out 250, 200 people, and it's like, okay, great, you're going to clean this out. Where the fuck are you going to put these people? You're just going to take all their shit and clean it out, and then what are you going to do with these people? Where do you expect them to go?
Well, and
you're
they
not
don't
solving
know
the problem, man.
Throwing away.
It's
what
their
if
shit. It
was
doesn't matter.
Pictures of their parents, or
No, it's their shit.
But they deem everything hazardous if because of drug use.
Isn't there something in the Constitution about due process and about not losing your fucking property until you had the right to due process?
Unless not if you don't have a bank signed something and validated your right to fucking, exist in that spot. So if a bank hasn't validated your right to exist, or some realtor, or some boss, or some fucking capitalist pig, then you don't have a right to exist in this spot. And we're not going to create another place for you to exist. We're just going to disperse you because you're all up in our face and making the reality of capitalism all sorts of real up in our face, and the stratification that it provides. And so we don't want to look at you. So we're going to put all of our law enforcement in place to disperse you.
Because it's so easy, Aaron. It's so easy because they've dehumanized them. They're not human. It's okay because they're subhuman. They're subhuman.
We've always
because we just went by a bad car accident today, and I started crying, and my son's like, oh, but I'm like, see, that's what's messed up. They do help, but they're militarized. They're trained to kill. They're like that. It's a gang. It's like that. They're trained. How to act. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, so they're so trained, but they can't tell the difference between a fucking gun and a cell phone.
Right. Oh, yeah. The homeless person. So their reaction to the houseless problem is, well, smash it and fucking kill it and fucking lock it up. That's what we do, right? And there's a houseless problem.
They don't even lock them. They don't even lock them up so they can get money out of it. But they kick them out. They've defunded all the mental institutions, all the,
Exactly.
places where these people could probably get some help and some medication,
And that's why they're so bad, too.
And they kick him out on the street.
Yep.
That's been going on for years, man. I've seen videos of them
Reagan
absolutely
did
doing that. There, thank you, Shannon.
Reagan did that, and that's when the Greyhound Method started. That they put homeless people or mentally ill,
give
for
them a
lack of a
Greyhound
better
ticket.
word. Yeah, and ship them to another state. And I remember there was a big thing about that.
I do.
I think it was in the 90s.
No, check it out. It became a national trend. Like, it happened in Reno, too.
Right.
So when in downtown Reno, all the houseless community used to sort of congregate around the Truckee River in downtown at Wingfield Park. And
yeah, of course.
They went through and they completely wanted to renovate downtown, the whole downtown region, which I am still to this day supportive of. But what I'm not supportive of is they gave all these people like bus tickets and like just expected, like they didn't do anything to deal with the people that was like, that's where we used to do food, not bombs, bro, because that was like, we knew where people were. We could bring them, and like,
It still
after
happens,
that,
just not on the same level.
Right. So, I mean, so it's all over the place. It's like the way to deal with it is, well, we'll just send them somewhere else.
And that's not the solution. That's what I was trying to say. You're not even freaking putting bandages on the problem. You're not addressing the problem. You're removing the eyesore, basically. Oh, I'm sorry. It's an eyesore. Really? Right. Guess what? It's just like the protesters in the street. Sorry. Is it an inconvenience for you? Then maybe you should fucking actually do something to solve the problem.
The homeowners are ridiculous.
Right.
I it's the same out here.
And I just want to say this too.
I don't want my property value to go down. Oh my God.
And
someone's dying in the street, lady.
Yeah, I'm going to say this, and then we can. We have some other things that we're going to talk about, and I'd like it if you can hang out with us, Shannon, because we have a couple other topics we want to talk about. But I want to say this eyesore that we're talking about, these are fucking human beings.
Thank you.
These are fucking human beings. These are people who were born as little babies, and for whatever reason, their life didn't turn out really awesome.
Capitalism might have something to do with that.
And you know who the number one is women above retirement age. My friend, I have a friend at the Santa Ana, the Civic Center, and she's 67. Her husband got cancer. She lost her job because she had to take care of him. She lost her apartment of, I don't know if it was 15, 20 years, something like that. And she's on the street.
And we can do better than this.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And if people can't afford to live, and they should be able to on the income they have.
That's right. This planet has the resources to take care of everybody.
Oh my God, totally.
We
have the intelligence.
Capitalism is Capitalism is making life very easy for a very small handful of people and fucking utterly miserable.
And you know, I didn't always understand the large picture. I always just said I hate money since I was a teenager because I don't like materialistic ways of thinking or life, you know. So I never had a need for it really, but you have to have it in the system. But when you get older and you start putting all the pieces of the puzzle together, and it just all comes back to one thing. It always seems to, anyway.
Yep.
It's capitalism, which is greed. It's just greed.
Yep. And the indulgence of that big giant fucking amygdala. And check it out. So let stick with us, Shannon. We're going to talk about there is. It's not the do-all, end-all. It's not going to save everything. It's not the answer, and it's not the road to utopia. But the 2018 midterm election is coming now. And
what? It's not utopia?
It's not going to be utopia, bro.
Oh, dude.
But
I swear you told me it was going to be.
I know, and that was because I was trying to convince you to do a podcast with me.
Oh, okay,
Dumbass. Yeah. But we're going to...
And you fell for it.
You did. So we're going to really get into a number of things about the midterm election. We're going to talk about the interstate cross-check stuff. We're going to be talking about the census and how that's relevant to the midterms. And we're also going to be talking about, we're going to get heated and argue about blue wave versus Trump hats.
You know, this is just all shit's going to piss me off.
I know it is. So let's get into it.
I'm glad Shannon's going to be with us, so let's do this.